So, was thinking, been thinking, always thinking. Um, and this kind of isolation I find myself in has me realizing a lot about myself, about my habits, about my mentality. Um, and as I get older, I find myself reflecting on the past a lot. It was really bad a couple weeks ago. It was really bad where I don't know, I just was just really fixated on a lot of about the past, remembering old situations, old jobs, old friends, old relationships, old decisions. It's like I think a good trigger was my 27th birthday, and maybe that's part of the whole journey. Is like as you get older, certain stages, your past really starts to resonate. The vibrations of your past really just kind of pass back around and hit you hard, and it's like lately the past has never seemed brighter, and I think a lot in retrospective, I don't know which word, but I think a lot retroactively. I think about the past often, think about the future often. In my mind, I I cannot, whenever I think of my age, I always, in my mind, I'm 5 years older than I actually am in real life, and that's good and bad. Um, but yeah, the past has just been screaming to me lately, and it's been this kind of isolation mixed with another birthday passing and having a lot of time to just sit and just really ruminate on things. And it just makes me realize how much of my tendencies need to be understood, changed, harnessed, erased from myself, even in some ways. I think about this primarily because, in the aspect of false idols, false idolatry, and just the idea of placing something of this world of such high value that it affects how you walk, talk, act, decisions you make, And I never really realized how easy it is to fall into a false idol until I really, like I said, been having this retrospective and comparing the past to the present and this isolation and just what my mind is moving to, when I can really sit and observe my actions, my thoughts, my habits, my desires, and realizing, in ways I have false idols. In ways I do have false idols. And I don't know, they gotta be killed. I know they have to be killed. And it's just funny because, when you're in it, you don't really realize that something is an idol. That you're putting so much value on things. You don't really realize in the moment. Case in point, I'd say one of the worst ones for me is relationship. And I feel like it kind of, I feel like it transcends the idea of just a girl. I don't really feel like I'm very led astray by just any old female. The idea of a relationship and a person that I connect myself with, or have connected myself with emotionally, and just being able to sit and observe through this retrospection. I don't know if that's a word, but to sit through this retrospective lens and remember old relationships and remember decisions that I made and things that I let be, and decisions I decided to take, and ways that I decided to twist and turn, and how much value things that I gave up and things that I took on, all for the sake of relationships, all for the sake of some girl I was with. And then case in point, not my most recent relationship, but the one before that. And that one, after a while, after a few times, I told myself that I was really not necessarily done, but I told myself that I'd learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself, about what I wanted, about what I desired, about what I thought I deserved. And I took a long break from dating after that one. I wasn't even interested in finding another one and starting one. I was really just geared on myself. I was really just geared and working on myself, and it was good. It was a good almost 2 years, year and a half of just me, just focusing on me. And then I stumbled upon a new girl. And it's funny how it happens. It's like when you're not looking is when something comes in your way. I feel like the harder you chase something, the harder it is to get it. But my most recent relationship, and I had really thought that I had grown, that I had matured, that I had gotten over a lot of bad habits, that I had gotten over a lot of internal, issues and stuff. To find myself tripping up over a lot of the same things. A lot of the same things in different ways. Case in point now, I'm not with her anymore. She's not in my mind like she used to be. That emotional attachment is gone now, which is really what was needed to be able to look at it objectively. Because when I was still kind of stuck up and upset over it, it's hard to not just remember what you want to remember to get whatever emotion it is that you're trying to make yourself feel. But now that I'm able to kind of objectively look at it, and that I've been objectively thinking about not only her, but the last one and the one before, and so on and so forth, to realize that a relationship has definitely been a false idol for me. It's definitely been a false idol for me. And as I get deeper into my spirituality lately, as I get more objective, and I can start really viewing myself, looking from a different lens, from a higher understanding, from a more humble position, I'm really able to start seeing these things. Another case in point, money. Unfortunately, we live in a society where money is very much put upon us as real, when money, once again, isn't real. So all these fake, made-up things that only hold power so long as we all agree to give it the power that it has. Money. We live in a society that is very much dictated by money. And I don't want to say that my motivation for this past years has been bad, but my motivation has definitely changed many times. But regardless of what my motivation is, the end goal is the same. We got to get more money. We got to earn more. We got to be smarter with it. We got to save onto more of it. We got to be better with how we use it to make more money. And eventually, once I have enough money, I will be able to fill in the blank with whatever, And kind of ties into another thing that I've been thinking about, is just taking a break and taking a vacation. And it's like, but money, but time, but this, but that, but I don't want to spend. I want to hold on to it as if money really brings me such a great level of security. Money has no real power. Money has no real power. Money is only as powerful as we all agree that it is. You know? And don't get me wrong, like, I don't really think I'm at the mental enlightenment to say abandon it all and just start walking, you know. But definitely, you know, you need money to a degree. Of course, money will buy me food and money pays my rent, but if I'm so bent on withholding myself and holding on to it and scrounging pennies and not taking a break when I know I want a break, when I know I can truly tell myself that I deserve a break. You know, for what? For what? Is that not just another false idol? You know, is that not just a false idol? What real power does money have? What true power does money have? You know, none. You can use money to trick another person or another individual into utilizing real world power for you. So it's just collateral. It's collateral for power. Money itself is not power. It's collateral for real, actual, tangible, powerful things. Money didn't create those things. And those things don't need money to function. But we have a society that tricks us into thinking that money is that function. That if you don't have money, you can't go to the doctor. A healer can still heal whether money exists or not. That you can't eat unless you have money. There is food to eat around whether you have money or not. We are just so tricked into thinking that we need money to eat. Food exists. I can fill my belly whether there's $1 on this earth or not. But unfortunately, you know, we're in this society, we're in this game, we're in this microcosm where the rules are just bent. And it really has me in a position, it has many people in a position where money is truly a false idol. But even still, with that being said, I know, you know, unless I'm going to drop everything and completely change my desires in life, completely run and achieve for enlightenment and go sit atop the mountains in Nepal to meditate, you know. Unless I'm willing to do all that, then I gotta get my ass up and make some money. Unfortunately, you know, this system is in such great agreement. It's embedded in everyone around us' mind so much that it is our reality. If I take this vacation, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of my world. I'll wake up the next morning. I'll pay my rent. I'll pay my bills. I'll find something to eat. So why am I still so hesitant? Why am I still so adverse to just doing it, just pulling the trigger? For whatever reason, you know? Is money truly still a false idol for me? I don't know. I don't want it to be. But I desire things. In order to get those things, I gotta have some money. Kind of over this, kind of over it. You know, like I said, my motivation has definitely changed, you know. At one point it was spite. Spite was my motivation. At one point, pride and ego and fame was my motivation. At one point, well, I mean, now, I sure could say now, it's peace and freedom is really all I want. is peace and freedom and ability. But is money going to get me that? No. Money won't get me that, but money can be a great tool to getting that. Money can be a great tool, you know. And of course, it's not only peace and freedom, but desire. I want things. I want to do things. I want to go places. I want to experience and see and have, you know. So maybe it is because my motivation is sullied, it's dirtied a bit by that desire, is exactly what is keeping me from completely letting go of this false idol. But yeah, just had to clear my mind.